Hey everyone, my name is Jenny Taylor and this is my self-talk awareness wheel video. I am going to be talking about a decision that I recently made and going over how I used the awareness map to make my decision on here. I'm sitting here and trying to video my information, and here's my awareness wheel map here that I'll be touching on all these areas. So the decision or the problem that I was facing is that I had a part-time job that I was working at Jedwin Field, or I'm sorry, not Jedwin Field, Providence Park. I was working down at the Timber Stadium and I was pouring beer just to earn some extra cash. But the season has ended, and with our break coming up, or my break coming up here, I was thinking about obtaining another little part-time job instead of taking all this time off from school coming up on here. And I basically had to, just weigh my options and just look at all the information before I made my decision to do it at. And I just kind of want to share my thought process with you. The first thing that I had, this basically the sensory data here. The first thing that I had noticed, I was like, well, I have my part-time job. I have been working at it for almost most of the year now, and I have been getting that extra set of income for a while now, and I've gotten used to that. So me not being able to work for the Timbers instead of our regular 6-week break, it would probably end up being more of a 12 to 15 week break on here, with double the amount of time that I'm normally working on. I had to really think about that because that's a long time to go without an extra set of income that you're used to having. So that's what I had thought about, and that's where my issue lies, is if I can afford to live without that extra set of income. The other section, the thoughts that I had, basically this section here, the thoughts that I had is, well, basically, can I really afford this? Can I, live off of just my one regular full-time job on here? What kind of things would I have to cut in case I couldn't, if I needed to make a slightly tighter budget on here, if my basic needs were going to be met, and if I would be okay with doing that for so long. Those were all thoughts that were going in my head about, just like the planning style of it. But what I didn't consider until later was, if I didn't have my second job and I could afford to live off of just my one paycheck on here, just how amazing it would be to have time to myself. For those of you who don't really know me, I have been working 2 jobs for almost my entire life, and I'm also a full-time student. I'm a single mother. I am busy almost every single day, and I'm always busy, and I never really have time to be, 33-year-old person. I don't really get to go out much. I'm mostly hanging out with my family, and I'm with my baby, and she's my world, and I do things with her, but I don't ever have a chance to really be Jenny, basically. So these were all thoughts that were going through my mind and kind of battling back and forth. The emotional side of this was, well, of course, me as a mom, I always want to make sure that my daughter is covered no matter what. I am willing to go above and beyond to make sure that my daughter is okay. If that means that I have to work 12 jobs, I will work 12 jobs. If that means that she gets to eat and I don't, that's just what a mom does. So that brings out a lot of emotion in me, and it just kind of, it's the kind of thing that you never really want to be in that situation. So that was kind of towards me it kind of pulled me towards wanting to take a second job for that. On there, the other emotion that, again, might be considered a little bit selfish to some on here, but was for me to take the time if I could, figure it out, and if I could live off of the one on here. So for me to take the time so that I can grow to be a person again, and, have a little semblance of a life for this short amount of time that I'm going to have free and open. And that's these, competing thoughts and emotions that I had going on me. So I always want to make sure that my daughter and my family are okay. But at the same time, I have to also take care of myself. And I know no one's going to do that for me. So that's the other issue that I was coming across when thinking about this. For this area here, the wants for... Basically, the wants for myself was just to make sure that everything is covered, that I am happy, that I'm okay, and for the others, those being my family, my friends, my daughter, above all, on here, that she's doing okay. That was the most important want to me. I want to make sure that she's okay. And as far as others, it would be nice if I could get together with my friends that I haven't seen in a long time, because like I said, I work all the time. I'm home with my with my baby, and I haven't gone out with friends like that if it's not, planned 9-10 weeks in advance. Sometimes it seems like. So I sometimes feel like a bad friend because I'm not available to do things and spend time on there, even though my friends also have kids, and they understand that, life happens, but, we all as friends try to stay communicated and in each other's lives on here. But it's nice every once in a while to have this time as a grown-up on there. As far as stakeholders go, there's no one really that, besides my family, that would really be affected by this on here. If I didn't take the job, they would be at stake, because then I wouldn't be able to provide the way that I have been. If I did take the job on here, would kind of just be business as usual. The only person that would probably end up losing a little would be me, because that's just more work and less time for me to be Jen, basically, on here. So for the actions, when I was thinking about this, currently I'm used to working for it on here, so working more isn't really a strain for me on here. But the other things that came into play is that I need to be able to take care of myself, and by taking a stand and not take this job and just making this work on here, I would be able to get more rest. I would be able to be, have time to properly eat and exercise and really take care of myself. And those actions, I think, are going to be more positive for me for, for the future. And that kind of covers the future aspect of that. Just because I know that I'm not really good at taking care of myself. I'm better at taking care of other people on there. And honestly, that's probably why I ended up just kind of compromising between the two. Basically, after all of my thoughts and all of my just whirlings going on, the solution that I came up with was, instead of getting another part-time job where I worked, 20, maybe 20 hours a week on here, I asked in my own job in a different department if I could fill in or do a special project maybe once a week or something, maybe 10 hours, 10, 12 hours a week on here. That would provide me with more time at home, more free time to help take care of myself, more free time to be, a normal person that doesn't work all the time. but it would also give me a little bit of extra income to help subsidize that loss of, paycheck that I am going to be basically in right now on there. I found that is the best solution for me, because to take on another part-time job is a big commitment and doesn't sound like much, 20 hours, 20 hours a week, but when you're already working 40 on here, those 60-hour weeks can add up very quickly. So I didn't like the idea that I would wear myself out and then not get any sort of break until next timber season started. So this is a real good compromise for me, that basically keeps everyone happy, including myself, because for a long time and pretty much most of my life, I've always put everybody before myself, and now that I'm a mother, I always put my daughter before everything else. And I know that I'm doing the best that I can on here, but I know that also I'm not eternal. I'm not Wonder Woman. I need to take care of myself. And that is one of the main reasons why during this break and while I'm doing all of this, I'm going to be taking those steps to make sure that I'm getting healthier so that I can be here in the future for my family and for my daughter. And then when regular timber season starts back up, I'll just leave this extra work behind and then just kind of keep going from there. It was a hard decision for me to make, because my financial situation and my ability to provide for my family has always been a very high priority for me on here, and it's not something that you can really take lightly. I mean, not as a daughter or as a mother, honestly. So ultimately, at the end of my whole thought process and the wheel and applying all of the things that I've learned so much, and just from the past experiences that I've had on here, I think I'm making a good decision that's not only good for my family and for my daughter, but it's also a good decision for me. So this has been my issue that I've been dealing with this week on here. Yeah, thank you.